Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday. So good to see you. We have some new faces here at Namaste Village. Welcome to all of you. And welcome to all of you. And welcome to all of you. And welcome, just welcome. Everyone is welcome. We are so blessed to be able to join here as we do every day to stoke the fire, to sing songs around the campfire. That's the image I get sometimes. We come in here every morning. It's like, being back in the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts, we're just holding hands, singing Kumbaya. I don't know where I'm going. Maybe this is why I asked Vicky to start the session off today. I knew I was going to be silly. So I'm just going to turn it over to our dear sister. She's going to start things off, and then we'll hear from Teddy, and I'll wrap it up. We're going to just change the order here now and then. So Vicky, I'm so glad that you're here as always, and I would love just to turn it over to you and to let you start it off.
All right, Jimmy. Morning, everybody, and thank you for those that sang with me. I don't know if you caught that part, Jimmy. It was not your usual beatific chorus, but we sang, and it is like second coming. We are the Scouts. We are the Scouts. We are the good Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts that have awakened to the joy that's right around us when we join together. And we do sit around this campfire every day and wherever we are in our life. So I brought you a quote this morning, and it's from Joel. And it is from a book he called The Parentheses in Eternity. For any of you, it's a great description of how to live here now or how not to. So I have to lose my face because I have to read it on the phone. So here we go. Okay. It says, to pray without ceasing is to rejoice all day long, that the grace of God is working in us and through us. And that's the prayer we say at the end of every meeting, that I am surrounded, I am the light of God, the presence, the power. So to pray without ceasing is to rejoice all day long, that the grace of God is working in and through us without our telling God or pleading or asking anything. He has already given everything to us, and we have only to be still and realize it. Be still and realize it. This is how we do it. Let us release ourselves into the rhythm of God and thereby become a part of the rhythm of this universe. The master gave us explicit instructions as how to do this. And here they go. You ready? These are like the Scouts living by the code. Take no thought for your life. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you life eternal. Take no thought for your supply. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you supply. Take no thought for even peace on earth, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you peace on earth. So the line I wanted to look at was, let us release ourselves into the rhythm of God. Whoops, am I backwards here? Hold on. Here we go. And so we have examples all around us. Jimmy, you're a great example. If we release ourselves into the literally...
Hey, Vicky, turn your camera back on.
Oh, it's not on. Okay, hold on. Oh no, you know how bad I am.
Beautiful face.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
There we go.
Here I am. Okay. So how do we release ourselves into the rhythm of God? We let go, and he tells us, aren't those simple instructions? Take no thought. It's not in thinking about any of this. It's in letting go of all thought and relaxing and resting into the grace and what he calls the rhythm of God, of the spirit of I am, for the Christ, the divinity in us. And that spirit is the spirit of love. in our own personal experience. And with it comes our personal signature. Now, the best example I can think of right now is George yesterday opening up his church. George relaxed into the rhythm of who he was, and it was impossible for him not to give of the love of God. So he opened up his church. We are the church, but each of us has a way that's given us. Jimmy, whether you have to write music. If nobody listened to your music, it wouldn't matter. The music comes through you. It's how the love of God expresses itself. And the key is that we must relax into this and let it have us, let it fill us, and it goes forth on its own. There's no design, there's no goal, and there's no outcome. The whole business of living in Christ consciousness and our divinity is resting into it and not using it. Like yesterday, you were talking about, using it for business, how we make everything into a capital venture. It isn't about getting anything. It's simply about giving what's given to us. Love gives of itself. It's the nature of love. It's our nature. And love is the best word because it's universal. Some people will have issues with different words or phrases, but love is universal. And as we fall into it, into what we are, it has to fill us if we don't cloud our being with thinking. That's why the instructions, take no thought. Consider the lilies of the field. They don't toil or spin. Take no thought of anything. It's your Father's good pleasure to give you everything. So for each of us, and so I have two more examples. One of the best examples was the other day at the party. Some of you remember or know Katja. She's a friend of ours. She's a doctor. Oh, she went to Johns Hopkins. She's a fancy doctor, knows lots of stuff. And she was in the circle and she said, all I ever wanted to do was be a drummer. And finally now, whatever age she is, she's taking drum lessons. And it's brought her the greatest joy because she needs to be in the rhythm of God. And all the medicines and healing modalities that she studied, that's not the healing. The healing is resting into the spirit that we are, the love that we are, and letting it express without any outcome or goal. Don't try to make a business out of it. Just let it take us. So this is the other example. You're going to like this, Jimmy. And I just found this out, I guess, the day before yesterday. So Harvey, my brother-in-law, who calls himself TLL, the living legend. Harvey is not afraid of owning his divinity.
He is not. No.
Harvey's known one thing. He's not no. And he's not afraid. And he's never studied any spiritual stuff. He lives by the seat of his soul. He lives by love. Harvey's rule in life has been gratitude. Every day, in every way. Oh, oops, I lost you. He just is a being of gratitude, and he lets the past go. Not even because he thinks to let it go, but because gratitude fills under and make lots of mistakes. But he doesn't even blame himself. He says, oh, well, I'll be grateful. Have a grateful day. That's been his motto. So the other day, he's in the kitchen here, and he was busy. So what are you doing, Harvey? Oh, I'm answering my mail. I guess you got a lot of mail. He said, well, actually, I help people he's a car guy, and he has, he used to have car dealerships, and he helps people that have car problems. So he said, I don't know how it happened, but I have 5,000 people that follow me and ask me questions every single day. So he said, I take as many as I can and I answer them. And he does. Katja had a question the other day, and he saved her $750 by telling her where to get what she needed and how to install it herself, which she did. But it's another example. Harvey's got to give of himself. He's like a Mr. Deeds. It's just his nature. And he knows things about cars and mechanics and things like that. So I don't know where he got 5,000 people. He doesn't even know. He said, somebody asked me a question and I had to answer it. And then he answers and answers. And before he knew it, he has a life of giving. Now, it isn't, by this part and that part. It's the love behind it. It's his Christ expressing himself, just like George in his church. Jimmy, you at Namaste, you had to have brothers around you. You had to. Whether you want to run it or not run it, doesn't seem to matter. You needed to be surrounded by the love of God and your brothers. And there you are, with all your brothers around you, near and far. But nothing was as beautiful as witnessing the unfoldment of what is now Namaste Village. Being there from the beginning and seeing how Jimmy bought this little retreat center for a dozen people, and bam, overnight, 1, 2, 3, the next thing happened, the next property, they're building casitas, brothers are coming. Everyone is coming to join around the rhythm of the universe. So that's my message. Relax, but you got to relax into it. You can't look for it and make it happen for any reason. It already is here. That's why we're always ready. No matter what point we are in life, no matter how off the track we might have been or be, it's simply a turning of our attention to the love that we are and letting it lead us and guide us. So, okie dokie.
Thank you. Thank you, Vicki. Wow. Well, I'm going to jump right in because I have some stuff to say based on what you just said, and I don't want to forget it, or maybe I will, and that's okay too. But I just want to say a few things. First of all, that was brilliant, and everything you expressed, Vicki, is whole-mindedness 101. This is the basic stuff. And that's why Jesus 2,000 years ago made it the basis of his teaching. Give everything. Don't worry about anything. It is God's good grace to give you everything that you need. All you need to do is to surrender and trust that. That's all you need to do. Look at the birds of the air. Look at everything around you. The flowers of the field, they're given everything that they need. And yet, so often, we try and trust ourselves over trusting God. And all we're being asked to do, the rhythm of God, is just to act as God, to be the source, to give that which we are given or that which we want. That beautiful prayer that comes from Mother Teresa. When I'm hungry, give me someone to feed. When I'm thirsty, give me someone to give a drink to. This is really, it's so simple. That's the amazing thing. All we need to do is to apply it. And there is this natural rush of egoic tension that immediately rushes in and says, oh no, it's not that simple. You have to worry about these things. You have to work. And all of those voices that come in, just say, okay, whatever. Thank you. Because I'm going to believe that Jesus and Joel Goldsmith that they meant what they said. I don't have to worry about anything. I just have to give everything. That's a big one right there. I don't have to worry about anything. I just have to give everything. Because if I give everything, everything flows right back to me. Once again, how simple is salvation? I was also thinking about the rhythm of time, the rhythm of God rather, and how when you're a musician, one of the keys is to keep the beat in time. Okay, to stay in time, right? Because if you're out of time, it's chaos. Here it's the opposite. So many things are the opposite to what the truth is. To stay out of time, to lift above time, that's the goal. Staying in time. In other words, I'm going to stay within the rhythm of the world. I'm going to do what the world says. I'm going to follow that egoic tension in my mind. No, just let it go. Just surrender. It's okay to be out of time. Remember, this is whole-mindedness 101. All you need to do is relax and trust and give and allow, and everything that you need is going to come to you effortlessly. So I just had oatmeal, so a little oat in my mouth. So Teddy, I'm going to turn it over to you now and let you take it from there.
So in music, when you are at a time, they actually call that jazz. And in case you haven't listened to jazz, it really is incredible when they get at a time and they work with each other at a time. Um, but I wanted to say something that has come up for me, and it is sort of has something to do with what Joel said and everything to do with what Jesus has said. You know, the theory in the Course is that into the mind of the Holy Son of God there crept a tiny mad idea at which he remembered not to laugh. And from that remembering not to laugh, there sprang a whole world that was the opposite of what reality is. In reality, we're whole and perfect, and there is form does not exist. All form in that sense is just temporarily here for us to use so we can forgive ourselves of that tiny mad idea. Um, and I gotta tell you, one of the things that I have been looking at, because of the nature of the condition I find myself in physically, and with the diagnosis that I got, and it started, one night I was laying in bed, and when I lay in bed after everything is over, I sort of like ease into my remembrance of God. Um, so it dawned on me, and it was actually the first time, because I've had all manner of experiences, being with God, being with Jesus, talking, all kinds of stuff. It dawned on me that even in this condition, the fact that I am in a body in space time, in a condition opposite of reality, means that I was created. And I was created by God. And whatever it is I am something. Um, and that was amazing. We're so used to forgiving ourselves. We so try to forgive ourselves. And the realization that I really am created by God, in spite of any condition I may find myself in. And all of us, it doesn't matter what condition we find ourselves in, we were created whole and perfect by God, as God creating, and together with God we create. So it was just an amazing discovery. And, now it follows me through the day. It's just something that I remember. It doesn't matter what anything seems to be like here in space and time. It just, the fact that we are here, having remembered not to laugh, means that we were created and we remembered not to laugh, but we were still created. It's an a priori existence, an a priori reality. In order to be here in space and time, having remembered not to laugh, we had to have been already created whole and perfect. So that's all I got.
What more do you need? And by the way, just because we forgot to laugh at that crazy mad idea back then, whenever then was, it doesn't mean we can't laugh now.
That's right.
So let's laugh now. Let's see through it all and realize that we cannot go wrong. This is guaranteed. You can't go wrong. You can't miss who you are. You can ignore who you are, but ultimately you have to deal with the truth of who you are. The other day, I had dinner. You were speaking about jazz, Teddy. I had dinner with one of the most famous jazz musicians
Oh,
in the world.
Victor. Oh,
Yeah,
far out.
yeah. I had dinner with one of Vicky's dearest brothers, Victor Wooten, one of the greatest jazz players in the whole world. And what Victor loves to say is there are no wrong notes. This is what he teaches young musicians. You can't make a wrong note because even if you hit a note and it's not in alignment with what's going on around you with the other instruments, what they're playing, you can always kind of bend into it. You can just roll into the next, and then everybody's going to say, wow, that was cool. That was cool. That's jazz, man. You hit the wrong note and then you pulled into the right note. So don't worry, in other words, this comes right back to what Vicky was saying. Just relax. You can't do this wrong. Just allow the grace of God to take you. And as we said yesterday, don't worry about how you're going to make money on it. Don't worry how you're going to take and bottle this inspiration. You're never going to. You may think you are for a moment. I can't tell you how many people that I've seen over the last almost 30 years that I've been doing this work. How many people come with this great new thing, this great new package or program or book, and everyone gets on that bandwagon, and 6 months later, they're on to something else. Don't worry about that. Focus on this. Focus on what we're doing here right now, and the rest will take care of itself. So there you go. Do you want to share anything? I love that you're here, Diane. And
I love that I'm here too.
do you want to come up and share anything? Of course, we have our Unity Minister in Residence, Diane, who's here. And come on up, just let it roll. Because I can see her just riffing with everything we're saying. So go ahead and have a seat.
Yeah, riffing. That's the right word. Riffing. Oh my goodness. Yes. It's a joy. It's such a joy to hear the truth spoken with different voices. And we have ears to hear in this place and eyes to see. The riffing of the jazz musicians that is such a perfect metaphor for how we deal with life. I love that, because if you take a misstep, according to someone, it was your next step, and it brings you in to the very next step. So there's always this unfolding, and I love that. I mean, how much does that matter to us, that we cannot make a misstep, that actually we're all one, God is, and so we just move forward. If we find out that we're like, what, take a step and you're in. Actually, the other day I was out dancing and at Lake Chapala Society, and I got really lucky. I stepped right in some dog dew that was right there in the grass. And I went, oh, okay. So I kind of slid a little bit, little unexpected slide there. But you know what? It brought me deeper into that movement that I had been kind of resisting, because I'd been a little stagnant in my steps. And so it brought me into a place where I was not logically dancing the way that I thought I should dance, but just being present. And so I think that's the way God works, don't you?
Mhm.
And it's always in the presence and the power. And this idea of it's God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom and seek ye first. I mean, I've heard you guys in the days that I've been here 1 week, in the days that I've been here, I've heard scripture used in such not only prophetic ways, but really applicable ways. And I think that practical Christianity, the practical Buddhic teachings, the practical Hindi teachings, we are an interfaith community, and there is no lesser or greater. So it's a joy to be with all of you today. And thanks, Jerry.
Yeah. I could just feel that you had something there. And I think what it was the sliding through the dog dew. Just slide on through it. Don't worry about it. Just slide into grace. Oh, wow. Vicki, thank you so much for guiding us into this. This was a beautiful, beautiful discussion. And as always, we join here as mighty companions. We come together to keep laying fuel upon this fire. We're no longer dancing around the fire. We're diving in, because that's where the action, that's where the joy really is. That's where the transformation is. We're not here just to gain more information or knowledge. We're here to apply this wisdom. And the way that we apply this wisdom is sliding through the dog do. Whenever you hit that step, that's okay. You can't do this wrong. You can't make a mistake. Even though, I mean, we could look at it in other ways and say, well, I've made many mistakes. And that is a call to humility, for sure. We talk about humility here a lot, how important it is for me to realize that on my own, I can do nothing. On my own, I am nothing, because there's no such thing as on my own. I am in grace. I am in God. And throwing myself into the fire is my willingness to give everything. And that's all it takes, the willingness to give everything. We're going to learn what that means, or we're going to be taught what that means as we go. But we don't have to know it up front. We just have to slide on through. Just like a great jazz musician hits what you'd think of the wrong note, they slide into the right note, and everybody says, now that's cool. So thank you. You know, one of these days we're going to get Victor on the morning call. In fact, Vicki, I'm going to ask him if he would join us and maybe talk about that subject, because that's a good one. I'll reach out to him today. Maybe next week we can get him on. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and we'll just focus for a moment on all of the needs that we lay upon this altar, every desire we have, every call for healing, every call for love and acceptance. We lay it all upon this altar, knowing that our prayers have been answered before we have even asked. So, beloved one, we come to you. We give everything to you. And we know that you are with us. We know that through your grace, we are already healed. Through your grace, all is well. Let us slide into that. Let us do the greatest Michael Jackson slide we've ever done in our life and just strike a pose of grace that all the world will see and say, yeah, that's it. That's what I want. Let our fire burn so bright that we illumine the whole city of God. And if there is any petition that we would like to bring or person that we would like to pray for, feel free just to unmute and say their name. Just one word that sums up this prayer.
For Irene
Satya.
and Teresa, who have
Shelley and Jonathan.
Matt and Jay.
Alisa.
Lauren.
Yeah.
Thomas.
Michael.
Sophie.
It's grateful for
Brianna.
being rescued with those two big mistakes I made in the last 24 hours. I did nothing wrong.
Lynn.
Thank you. Thank you.
Richard.
Christopher.
Akiko.
Char.
Even
such
Tim. Kay.
Dick.
Deb.
Nicole.
Nicole. Jeannie.
Seth and Sharon.
Lawrence.
All my family.
Gladys.
Ed.
Sophie.
So we
All
bring
right.
all these beloveds with us. We hold their hand as we walk into this fire. And we rejoice. As Vicki said at the beginning, we rejoice that the grace that has been given to us is whole, is complete, is real. We surrender into that reality. And we say together, Amen. And so it is.
And so it is.
All right, dear ones, we're going to go ahead and we're going to share our final prayer protection. Let me go ahead and bring it up here on the screen, and let's really announce this to the world. Here we go. The light of God surrounds us.
Surrounds us.
I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is.